Welcome to our interview today, and we are really delighted to have you here because you are one of our most successful traders. So we'd like to ask you a few questions about your journey and when you started trading, how you started trading, the people you've inspired into trading. So I just want to give us a few short story about that so you can inspire more people.
From 2019, I started learning. I remember using my whole salary to pay a mentor, and for space of a whole year, using all of my salaries to deposit. I started off with crypto. I learned forex and then moved to crypto. I started trading in futures, Binance futures, and yeah, journey was pretty up and down the whole of 2019, 2020. But then for the whole of 2021, I was trading and always losing, making money, losing money. But then I looked at the curve. Sometimes I will make money that is times 5 of my salary. And sometimes I'll lose everything. Then I decided to give it more attention, because if I have a skill that sometimes will pay me times 10 of my salary, then why don't I just focus and improve on it? So that was when I started taking trading serious. So that was the year 2020, same 2020. Take note, I started 2019. So 2020, the ending of 2020, I decided to own my ships. So I can't go back to anything else. So I did quit my job so I can focus on forex trading fully. It was a risky move, but I did calculated it that I was still a bit young, not too young, but I was in my early 20s. So I told myself, if I don't find success in this new line, then maybe I'll come back to career later. So that was how I became a full-time trader. Started sitting at home to only trade and survive by trading.
I'm sure most salary earners or people that are looking at finding their footing financially will be inspired by this. Me myself, I am inspired by this story. You losing your trades and making some money, but you realize that you had to. What is worth doing is what's doing well. If you could mention just one strategy that any beginner trader or a trader that is trying to find their footing could apply, what strategy would you mention, sir? Perfectly.
All right, so you made mention of strategy, and I heard something related to risk. For any beginner out there, I think risk management is the best strategy. And something I've discovered over the years, risk management does not necessarily mean small lot sizes. But risk management is actually the best strategy. So if you are a beginner, every strategy works actually, because I've traded everything. I started off with the retail pattern trend lines, and then I moved on to harmonics. Then I was trying to learn Y curve. Then I stumbled on ICT, which is the smart money concept. I started trading that, I think, from early 2022. I started trading the SMC concept. And one thing is, with every strategy I've traded, I found reasonable success with them. In trading, we can't just measure success with volume of money. But with every strategy, I found reasonable success with them. Now, having this plethora of experiences where I've traded a lot of strategies, something I observed and I've come to realize is trading is all about probabilities, not just about your strategy. Till date, I tell people, if you take away everything I know in relationship to ICT, I will still make money. If you take away trend lines, I will still make money. If you subject me to any of these strategies, I will still make money. So what I do is acknowledge probability. Every trade, no matter how you analyze it, has 50% chances of winning and losing. So what you do is you switch your risk. Now your strategy is going to add to the probability of you winning. And it's not by large margin, actually. The strategy is going to take you from something like maybe 50-50 to 60-40. That is why when you look at most traders' win rates, you find out that profitable traders, you see their win rates around 30% to maybe 50-60. It doesn't have to be perfection in respect to winning trades. It's about your risk management, your trade management. And I think the biggest battle out there is that trying to prove what is right. You see people engaging in trading communities arguing about what is order block, or how many bounces of the trend line you should use and all of those, but they don't understand that no matter the strategy, it's all about probability. If I am wrong, how much am I risking? If I am right, what is likely going to come out from this trade? So
Yeah,
every
that's
strategy works. Yes.
that's amazing. Thank you very much. That's insightful. So when did you decide that okay, I want to go bigger? Let me join Profirm. Let me get a Profirm account. When was this decision made? And when did you stumble upon Consummate Traders? And what made you decide to try Consummate Traders?
Okay. So I did traded with one of the prop firms that I folded up in 2022. My experience was not good with them. No, before that prop firm, I traded with another prop firm. I bought 3 accounts, and through the night, I passed the phase 1 and phase 2 of the account, and that was how the journey ended. I did not receive a live account. I started messaging the support. They kept on postponing me, and it ended up badly. I even introduced other of my people to this prop firm, and the prop firm just folded up, and we all lost. We all lost our money. That was 2022. So I decided to do with people that are a bit more repeatable. So I traded with one of these popular prop firms who folded up. Let me not mention them. So I bought accounts with them, but the trading condition was terrible. Trading condition was actually terrible. So I traded, the hustle was just there, forward, backward. I could not pass an evaluation, and I was open with it. So I was basically trading in my own capital. I was basically trading my own capital until somewhere around last year. I was teaching my students. I have a few students, very few. So there was this guy. What I was focusing on teaching them was flipping small accounts, isolating risk. Because something I observe is most people don't have that long stretch of discipline. You won't find them being disciplined with a large capital of their own money. If, for example, someone deposits $1,000 and then you tell them risk 1% or risk 2%, you see them, they do it 1, 2, 3 times, and then they jump to risking 20%, jump to risking 50%. So observing that, I developed a model for them where they have to isolate their risk. So you could have a $1,000 deposit, but how much are you risking on this trade? That will be the only money on your MetaTrader account. You leave the remaining money on your wallet. So I developed that strategy. I was teaching my students. We were using it to trade for the sake of discipline. But there was one guy who was giving me headache. He never agreed to trading isolated margin, neither trading his own funded capital. He was talking about prop firms. And mind you, I was already aware of prop firms. I was a fan of Jeffrey Benson and this other guy who started marketing Consummate. So I already knew about Consummate. But we Nigeria thing. So we were a bit skeptical because the first bad experience I had was still with a Nigeria firm. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So the guy bought a Consummate $50,000 account and was trying to apply my strategy. So in one of the sessions, I specifically sat with just the guy and explained how to navigate through it. So fine, I'm teaching the other people isolated risk. So the isolated risk, you don't have to use stop loss, because if you want to risk $50 per trade, then fund it, calculate how many pips you want to risk the $50 on, so you don't have to use stop loss.
Stop loss.
So for
Yeah.
this guy, I had to set a different parameters for him. Use a 20 pip stop loss, X and X lot size if you are trading so and so pair. Basic information. So I am a fan of eating what I serve. So I told him, for the sake of him trading prop firm, I will buy a prop firm account on the same platform he is on, which is Consummate. So he bought a 50K account, I bought a 5K account, and told him the reason I'm not a fan of prop firm, I'm not trying to trade with prop firm, but I want to apply the same parameters that I just taught you. So everything I taught you is just a difference of taking out a zero. So if I tell you trade one lot size on 50K account, that means I'll be trading 0.1 on the 5K account. So I wanted to test myself, same discipline I gave him. So I did put him on. He was trading. Mind you, I was already making money on my regular brokerage account, normal funded live account, not
Yeah.
yeah. So he was trading and I was trading. So after a month, I checked back on him, and according to the strategy and to the discipline, he was straight up passing the evaluation. It was straight up. Yeah, we will have the hassle, but the curve was most likely up. So I hit back at him and asked him, what is the progress of the evaluation account? He told me he blew it. I was like, why? And then when he started yapping everything, I saw that his case was indiscipline, because I applied every single thing I taught him just on that account, and I just passed the evaluation straight up. So I told him to start up and buy accounts again, and I think we lost contact for a while. I was trading, but every time, yeah. So as at this point, somewhere around last year, I started off last year trading with, I was good, or I'm still good with the ICT models. But something is, the more you trade, the more experience you gather, and you start switching things to your way. So somewhere around ending of 2022, I observed that everything I learned on the ICT concepts as a good ICT student were all the trading models were around volatilities, the kill zones, market opens, all of them, they were around volatilities. So I was studying, and I saw that the most volatile times were actually not just on those market opens, but around economic data release. So I started diving into trying to understand the economic data. But then I presented the idea to one of my friends, and he bounced it off, because I think the regular notion is stay away from news. It is dangerous, blah, blah, blah. So I started trading it in my regular brokerage account. So I thought I was getting lucky. Sorry, I'm going a bit of a bad story, so I'll meet up with
No, it's very, very interesting. It's interesting.
So I thought I was getting lucky. Sometimes if I take 10 trades, I'll be right 9 times, which is 90% accuracy. And I knew how I was analyzing them, study the figures, understand figures that are bad for the economy, figures that are good for the economy. So I presented the idea to one of my friends, the guy that introduced me to trading, and he was like, nope, news trading is a no-go area, that he always closes trade before every news release. So I did stop for a while, but I came back to it. I saw that I was making faster money with it, and I was still able to control the risk. So that was what excited me the most, the ability to control risk if it does not go my way. So I started trading it, and at a point I showed it to another of my students who became my friend. That's my priority. I like to train people who are students and make them my trading partners. So the guy looked at the results and he was like, why are we not trading this? Or why are you not teaching this publicly? So he gave me the confidence that host a boot camp, teach everybody, instead of us be learning all of these 6 months mentorship, 3 months mentorship. Why don't we just do this? Very simple. So I did hosted a boot camp around July last year. Mind you, I was already profitable. I was doing well with my SMC concept. So from after I hosted the boot camp, I started segregating my strategies. I'll trade only SMC on this account. I'll trade only economic data on this account. Now, within that period, I was more comfortable trading my SMC. So I decided to use, since I have a funded Consummate account, I decided to just start trading only my economic data analysis on the Consummate account. So I started doing that for a reason for me to easily get a feedback from the market. So when I look at the accounts, I know, okay, these are only economic data. Then I look at the other accounts, okay, this is SMC. How many trades here? How many trades there? What's my accuracy? What is the profit margin? And I also did it in a normal brokerage account. So I noticed that my speed trading the economic data is like times. I calculated it at the point I was making 600% over SMC models. So I started gaining confidence and belief in myself, because the reason why I did not believe in the strategy is because I didn't learn it from YouTube or from any mentor. I taught myself. I was just researching, fine, what does CPI mean? I'll read extended materials. How does this affect economy? Blah, blah. I was just researching all of those periods. So I devised a strategy to trade them. And this now back to the consummate account. So I started trading these concepts, the fundamentals, which I taught myself in just the consummate account and in some specific accounts. So at the end of the day, I started measuring them against each other. I saw that I was just making noise. I was profitable, mind you. I did last year with my SMC concept. I did 100% return in 3 months with my SMC. And it was 150% returns in 3 months. But with my economic data, it was way more than that. So take note, I'm telling you, I
More
did
than
about
that.
600 years. So now looking at it, I started gravitating more toward my economic data because this is now proving results. I have backing statistics. So I started focusing more on it. And I think somewhere around the line, was it October 21st, something terrible happened in my place. It was a gas explosion. Yeah. So some of my friends were
Sorry.
injured. Yeah. Yeah. We were just in the house and some of them were injured and all of those. So for some months, I was in the hospital with them. Now, I don't have the leverage to start analyzing time, looking at kill zones and all of those to trade. All I had was the economic data. So I started focusing just on the economic data to trade, and it was not bad. Like I was still even outperforming my SMC concept while not having time to trade. I just set my alarm. When is the release? What is the bias? This, that. So I was still trading. And when we left the hospital, was it December? Around December, I decided to take it up a bit and focus more and try to increase the volume because now I have a good track record with this model. So by this time, I was already losing interest with SMC, and my trading communities began suffering because I no longer have to come out there and be explaining this other block, kills on this, is that, that. I now know something. I hosted a boot camp already, so I was following up with the people who were in the boot camp to try to make sure I embed these lessons into their psychology and see how they can grow from this without having complicated strategy or knowing too much. So since it's just studying the figures, you just look at the figures, understand what it means for the economy, and they are very limited. They are very limited. Some weeks you have just 3 reasonable economic data that we can trade according to our models. Sometimes just 1, sometimes just 2. So I started noticing different things within that period of December, and having been in the hospital for almost the last 3 months, I started noticing some things. One, the first thing is I lacked psychological drawdown. By psychological drawdown, I mean by you being in a trade, and let's say you're a swing trader, you enter the trade today, you might be in loss for the whole of today. And we are humans, we are emotional beings, actually. Yeah, that concept of trade without emotion is a fallacy. If you're in a loss, you feel the emotions. You just try to cover it up and you just try to make it not to affect you. So my economic data trades, they don't last very long. I scalp using the economic figures. So one of the things I noticed was, fine, when I go into these trades, I control my risk. Within a short time, if I'm losing, I will complete the loss. A minute, 2, 3, 5, I'm done losing. If I'm winning, same thing. So I was not having this long stretch of trades that I will look at and see red and feel down. If I trade and it's a loss, it goes against my bias, it's instant, few minutes, because that actually was the original concept I learned from ICT. If you get into a trade and it's not going your way, if there is no displacement, that means there is no institutional volume. That usually was my strategy. So I took the same thing to the economic data, and it was now better because I get instant feedback from the market. If I'm wrong, I just lose and breathe, go back, continue my day. So I don't have to be checking my meta 4, meta 5 to see if the position is yes. So I looked at it. This was a big advantage to me. And I do trade multiple accounts. With my brokers, I trade NT4, I trade NT5, and then I trade Consummate. So I started averaging like about trading 3 accounts on a specific event. So it became very difficult to actually manage this account. Come here, I put the bias here. Come here, I put the bias here. Some larger accounts of personal funding, and just but something that helped me is it's currently in my front right now. I do have a jotter. I write it out. Consummate 5K accounts, X and X lot size. This 3K accounts, X and X lot size. So by the time I come to the market, I don't think I am here to execute what I've planned. If there is a trade today, I mostly plan it from the previous day. Then I set my alarms. Yeah, I have alarms for when to execute. I have alarms for when to just sit and be preparing my mind, relax my mind to take the trade. So yeah, from around December, I decided to take it up a notch. Bought some evaluations account, was it? Same December, January, passed low, low some, passed some, and January I bought more. Now, this is still the thing about probability, and for new traders, they think they will always win. If I should classify them overall, I've bought 20 evaluation accounts. I think I've failed more than 50% of them. Yeah. So for that reason, acknowledging probability, that is why I don't go for larger accounts. So if I buy a 50K account with, how much is it in Consummate? I can't tell, but let's assume a 50K account is maybe $250, and then I lose it, I would be emotional. So instead of me buy a 50K account, I can go for 25K, which gives me 50K, or 10K, 10K, 10K. It's a bit wasteful, actually. It's a bit wasteful because then you pass an evaluation, you have to pass another evaluation. And then you have to pass another.
Yeah.
It's a bit wasteful, but it increases the probability for you to make money. Now, this is where probability comes in place. So let's assume you want a 50K account. So instead of you buy a 50K account on a stretch, you bought maybe 225K accounts. If you buy these 225K accounts, you pass evaluation for one, and then you failed one. Now, what you will likely make from the funded accounts, if you're able to get to profit, any small margin of it will be way more than what you spent on purchasing the evaluation account.
Every point you've pointed out, it's something that someone can actually look back and be like, okay, I probably really was doing something wrong, or maybe I should just apply this method and it's going to be better for me. Because I myself, I try to trade, and I'm not going to lie, you've actually changed how I look at things. Like you've changed. Even when I went back, I was searching for some things that you were saying and everything. And I'm like, okay. And I remember talking to you about that your boot camp. I'm definitely going to reach out to you to see when next your next boot camp is going to be coming up. So to get to the next part, so you got a Consummate Traders account, and now I know you're an elite trader. So for you to be an elite trader, that means you've taken withdrawal up to 3 times from Consummate Traders.
Yeah. To be precise, it's now around 9 or 10, and I still have
pending
withdrawal.
It's now
9. I have a pending withdrawal, and I have 2. I've done over. So one of the simple method of management is once I hit specific targets, I don't have to go heavily on those accounts anymore. It's my method of management. It's the same thing. So for my normal brokerage accounts, what I do is I'm a frequent withdrawer. Once I trade and I hit specific level, I do process withdrawal. The reason is because building accounts in respect to leaving the money in an environment of probability, it makes it more difficult. So when we talk about building accounts, I build accounts outside forex. My bank account is still an account, right? Yeah. So when I build accounts, I try to build it outside forex. The one in forex is the one I'm risking to try to increase my own bank equity. So I don't have to go all in forex. And one of the good things is when you do this way, you'll be able to balance your psychology, because the more money you have in your bank, the more money you have outside the market, the more confident and the more stable you can be in the market. Because just think of maybe a scenario, somebody whose home and away is $100, and the person deposit the whole money into a trading account. or you buy an evaluation account with your whole life savings. Let's say maybe you buy a 100K account. You will be under so much pressure, and you value every action you take. You admire too much, you calculate too much, you become too analytical. You don't want to afford an error, but then the margin of error is constant in trading.